There's a forgotten truth, an ancient secret about light that our ancestors knew intimately, something that once shaped the very way they perceived the cosmos and their place within it. It was not merely the light of the sun, nor the light that illuminated the stars. This was a deeper, more elusive light, a force that permeated existence itself, both seen and unseen, known and unknown. The secret is not just a physical phenomenon, but a spiritual key, a bridge between the material and the divine. It is a truth that our ancestors understood, one that guided the construction of sacred temples, the design of monuments, and the very rhythms of life. And yet, over time, we have forgotten this secret, losing our connection to it as we have become more entrenched in the material world and its distractions. Imagine a world of ancient civilizations: Egypt, Mesopotamia, Greece, India. Cultures that built their entire understanding of existence around the interplay of light and shadow. These cultures revered light not only as the source of life, but as a manifestation of cosmic order. The great pyramids of Egypt were aligned with celestial bodies, designed to capture the light of the stars and channel it into sacred spaces. The Greeks saw light as the essence of truth, knowledge, and enlightenment, with their gods often associated with the sun and its illuminating power. The ancient Hindu and Vedic traditions describe light as the ultimate reality, with creation itself emerging from it. These civilizations were not merely observing light as a physical phenomenon, but recognizing it as a spiritual force, a hidden current that ran through all things, connecting the material and immaterial realms. But somewhere along the way, we lost touch with this deeper understanding. Over centuries, as we became more focused on material progress and scientific inquiry, we turned our gaze away from the metaphysical and towards the tangible. Light became something to be studied, categorized, and controlled, rather than something to be revered and understood in its broader, cosmic context. As the world grew more complex, we began to forget that light, in its essence, was not just a source of energy or illumination. It was a sacred force that connected us to the divine, to the infinite, to all that exists. The truth is, we have not simply forgotten the secrets about light. We have forgotten what it means to truly see. Light, as ancient civilizations knew, is more than just a physical phenomenon. It is an energy, a vibration, a conduit for higher consciousness. It is the essence of life itself, the very force that sustains us, and the key to unlocking the mysteries of the universe. When we speak of light in the context of these ancient teachings, we are not only talking about the light we see with our eyes, but the light that resides within us, in the deepest recesses of our soul. It is the light of awareness, the light of wisdom, and the light of transformation. Imagine for a moment that you are standing on the edge of a vast, open field at dusk. The sun is setting, casting long shadows across the land, but the light is not gone. It lingers in the air, shifting in color and quality, casting a glow that is not just seen but felt, a warm embrace that transcends the senses. The light that surrounds you in that moment is more than just the fading rays of the sun. It is a last flicker of divine truth, an eternal presence that exists beyond the boundaries of time. It is this light, this timeless force, that ancient civilizations recognized and honored. It was not a light to be grasped with the intellect alone, but one to be experienced with the heart, to be felt as a part of the very fabric of existence. We, too, can remember this light. We, too, can reconnect with the ancient wisdom that understood light as a bridge between the earthly and the divine. But to do so, we must shift our perception, look beyond the limitations of the physical world, and begin to see light not only as a source of illumination, but as a gateway to something much deeper. To reclaim this forgotten knowledge, we must remember that light is not just a tool for seeing. It is a tool for awakening, a key to understanding the mysteries of the cosmos and our place within it. In the following sections, we will explore the ancient teachings about light, the wisdom that has been passed down through generations, and the secrets that have been hidden from us for centuries. We will uncover the metaphysical and spiritual dimensions of light and how they were understood by the great civilizations that shaped the world. But more importantly, we will look at how this ancient knowledge can be reawakened in our lives today, how we can use the principles of light to deepen our understanding of ourselves, the universe, and the divine forces that govern existence. The forgotten teachings about light are not just relics of a distant past. They are living truths, waiting to be rediscovered and applied in our modern world. The time has come to remember them, to awaken to the hidden light that is within us all, and to once again understand profound connection between the light that illuminates the world around us and the light that resides within our souls. To understand the ancient teachings about light, we must first delve into the core principles that these civilizations recognize, but which modern thought has often forgotten or dismissed. These principles are not merely theoretical. They are the foundation of a worldview that sees light as both a physical phenomenon and a metaphysical key that unlocks the mysteries of existence. As we explore these core concepts, we will uncover the layers of understanding that ancient civilizations held about light and how it serves as a bridge between the human experience and the divine. One of the most fundamental ideas in these ancient traditions is the concept of light as a universal, divine energy, a force that permeates all things and connects everything in existence. This is not light as we typically think of it, simply the radiation that allows us to see. It is a cosmic energy that transcends physical form and serves as the very building block of reality. For the ancient Egyptians, light was symbolized by the sun god Ra, the source of life and creation, but it was understood to be more than just the sun's rays. It was a vital energy that flowed through the universe, creating and sustaining all things. In the Hindu tradition, light was represented by the goddess Lakshmi, the goddess of prosperity and wisdom, illuminating the path to enlightenment. In both cases, light is seen as a divine presence that embodies a life force, the intelligence of the universe itself. In these ancient views, light was never confined to the physical realm alone. It was believed to be the essence of the spiritual world, the divine consciousness that flows through everything. This idea aligns with the concept of the one light, an ancient teaching that sees all forms of light, whether the physical light of the sun, the mental light of wisdom, or the spiritual light of enlightenment, as interconnected. All light flows from a single source, and it is this universal light that animates life, fills the cosmos, and guides the soul on its journey. It is both the material and the immaterial, the seen and the unseen. Just as sunlight nourishes the physical body, the spiritual light nourishes the soul, guiding it toward higher levels of awareness and understanding. One of the primary themes these ancient civilizations recognized was the power of light to awaken consciousness. Light, in this sense, was not just a physical phenomenon, but a consciousness-expanding force. It was a force that illuminated not just the world around us, but the inner realms of the mind and spirit. Ancient Egyptians, for example, saw the sun as a symbol of enlightenment. Ra, the sun god, was also the bringer of wisdom and understanding. In many other cultures, the concept of inner light was deeply revered, an awakening of spiritual awareness that transcended the limitations of the material world. This inner light, or divine spark, was said to reside within all humans, waiting to be activated. It was not something you could acquire, but something you could awaken to once you tuned into the deeper current of existence. The ancient Greeks, particularly the philosopher Plato, spoke of the light of knowledge as the key to understanding the nature of reality. In his famous allegory of the cave, he described prisoners who were trapped in a dark cave, only seeing shadows on the wall. For these prisoners, the shadows were their only reality. But when one prisoner escapes and sees the light of the outside world, he comes to realize that the shadows were only a distorted version of reality. The light, in this case, is symbolic of truth, wisdom, and spiritual awakening, the ability to see beyond the surface and grasp the deeper, hidden reality. Plato's philosophy suggests that all human beings are, in a sense, in the dark until they awaken to the light of knowledge, which opens their eyes to a greater, universal truth. Another central idea is the duality of light and shadow. In the ancient traditions, light was not only seen as a force of creation and clarity, but also as something that revealed shadow. The very nature of light is to illuminate, and in doing so, it brings the shadows into view. The Greeks' notion of duality, the eternal dance between light and dark, good and evil, day and night, was rooted in the understanding that life is a balance of opposites. Shadow, while often seen as something to be avoided or feared, was an essential part of the light. It is the shadow that allows the light to be seen, and it is through the interplay of both that the full spectrum of existence is revealed. This duality is also reflected in the transformative power of light. The light of consciousness is not a passive force. It is an active agent of transformation, illuminating the path of awakening, guiding the soul through the darkness of ignorance and illusion. In many traditions, light symbolizes the process of spiritual purification. Just as the sun's rays burn away the fog and the clouds, so too does spiritual light burn away ignorance, ego, and limitation. The ancient alchemists understood light as a symbol of transmutation, the ability to turn base elements, the shadow aspects of the soul, into gold, enlightenment, and spiritual freedom. Light, in this sense, is not only a source of clarity, but also a catalyst for transformation, turning the darkness within into illumination. In the ancient teachings, light was also a source of unity. When light enters a space, it permeates everything it touches. It does not discriminate. The sun shines on all, on the good and the bad, the rich and the poor, the wise and the ignorant. This is a universal nature of light. It transcends boundaries, and in its essence, it reminds us that we are all part of the same cosmic whole. The ancient understanding of light teaches that, like the light of the sun, we are all interconnected, sharing the same source, the same energy. This recognition of unity, of oneness, is what connects the teachings of light to the experience of collective consciousness, a realization that when we awaken to our true nature, we are not isolated beings, but expressions of a greater, divine unity. Lastly, light as a guide to higher states of being. In nearly every ancient tradition, light was seen as the path to higher understanding and spiritual evolution. In the Vedic traditions, for example, light symbolizes the highest state of consciousness, a state of bliss, peace, and wisdom. The light of the soul was seen as the ultimate reality, the divine essence that transcends the body and mind. The journey of life, in this view, is one of moving toward the light, of awakening to the divine essence that resides within us all. As we begin to uncover forgotten secrets about light, we realize that the essence of this ancient wisdom is not simply a philosophical abstraction. It is an invitation to reconnect with the deeper truth of our existence, the light of consciousness. The inner light that illuminates the path to self-realization has been within us all along, and the ancient civilizations, with their profound understanding of the cosmos, were pointing to this truth, showing us how to align with the forces of light that govern all things. The wisdom of ancient civilizations about light is not merely contained in doctrines or philosophies, but embedded in rich, vivid symbolic narratives that carry deep meaning for the human soul. These stories, passed down through generations, are not just tales of God and heroes, but the soul's journey through the realms of light and shadow, of transformation and transcendence. Each narrative holds a key, a profound truth that transcends the confines of time, revealing layers of understanding about light's sacred role in the universe. These stories have been told in different forms across cultures, whether as myths, legends, or allegories, but they all point to the same universal truths about the power of light, its connection to the divine, and the potential for inner awakening. One of the most powerful and enduring symbols of light in ancient mythology is the phoenix, the mythical bird that is consumed by fire, only to rise again from its ashes, reborn and renewed. The phoenix embodies the idea of death and rebirth, of transformation through destruction. In the context of light, the phoenix is a symbol of the soul's journey through the darkness of ignorance and suffering, and its ultimate resurrection into the light of wisdom and enlightenment. The fire that consumes the phoenix represents the intense purification process that the soul undergoes in its quest for truth. It is the light of consciousness that burns away the dross, the ego, and the attachments that bind us to the material world, allowing the soul to rise again, shining with the clarity of divine wisdom. This narrative of transformation through fire is echoed in many spiritual traditions. In alchemy, the process of turning base metals into gold is symbolized by the idea of spiritual purification, where the soul is refined in the fires of experience. The light that emerges from this process is not just external illumination, but an inner radiance, an inner knowing that guides the soul back to its divine origin. The phoenix, then, is not just a myth, but a metaphor for the human soul's potential for rebirth and the ever-present possibility of transcending the limitations of the human experience. Another important symbolic narrative comes from the Greek myth of Prometheus, the Titan who defied the gods to bring fire to humanity. Fire, in this myth, is a symbol of knowledge, of enlightenment, and of the power to transcend the limitations of the physical world. Prometheus's act of bringing fire to humanity is an act of liberation, of awakening the human race to the divine knowledge and light that was previously withheld from them. However, in the myth, Prometheus is punished for this gift, Chained to a rock where an eagle eats his liver each day, this punishment can be seen as symbolic of the struggle that comes with awakening to higher consciousness. To receive the gift of light and knowledge is not without its trials. It often comes with great personal cost, as it requires breaking free from the confines of the known world and embracing the unknown. Yet, Prometheus's gift of fire also represents the potential for human beings to transcend their limitations and ascend to a higher state of being. In this myth, the light of knowledge is not just a physical fire, but the divine spark of awareness that resides within each of us. It is the flame of consciousness, the source of creativity, and the key to unlocking the mysteries of existence. Prometheus's gift reminds us that to seek enlightenment is to risk everything, to step outside the conventional, to defy the rules that bind us, and to embrace the unknown path that leads to spiritual awakening. Another profound symbolic story of light comes from the Vedic tradition, which speaks of the journey of the soul as a movement toward the inner light, the light of the Atman or true self. The Upanishads describe the soul's journey as one returning to the light, the ultimate source of creation, after spending time in the darkness of the material world. This journey is not a physical one, but an inward journey, a return to the light of pure consciousness that exists within each of us. In the Vedic tradition, light symbolizes the highest state of awareness and spiritual realization. It is the state of union with the divine, the state of moksha, liberation from the cycle of birth and death. The light, in this sense, is not something external, but an inner illumination, a divine presence that guides a soul towards ultimate realization. In the Vedic worldview, the sun is often seen as a symbol of the highest consciousness, representing both the source of physical light and the divine light that illuminates a path to self-realization. The Surya, the sun god, is worshipped as the bringer of enlightenment, the one who dispels the darkness of ignorance and leads the soul to the realization of its true, eternal nature. The sun's light represents not only the physical light that sustains life on earth, but the spiritual light that sustains the soul. The journey toward the light, in this case, is a journey toward self-awareness, toward understanding that the soul is one with the divine. In Christianity, the light of Christ is a central theme in many symbolic narratives. The light is often used as a metaphor for truth, salvation, and divine presence. In the Gospel of John, Christ is referred to as the light of the world, and this light represents the illumination of the soul, the revelation of divine truth. The story of Christ's crucifixion and resurrection symbolizes the transformative power of light, how it shines through the darkness of suffering and death, illuminating the path to eternal life. The resurrection of Christ is seen as a symbol of spiritual awakening, a journey from the darkness of ignorance to the light of divine knowledge and understanding. These symbolic narratives, whether from Greek, Vedic, Christian, or other ancient traditions, are not merely stories of gods and heroes, but reflections of the deeper, universal truths about the human soul and its connection to light. They remind us that the journey of life is not just about the physical world we inhabit, but about the spiritual awakening that comes when we reconnect with the divine light that resides within us. The stories of the Phoenix, Prometheus, the Vedic sages, and Christ all speak to the same truth. That light is the key to transformation, to awakening, and to the realization of our true nature. In the hidden dimension you enter each night, these symbols and stories come alive. They are not merely allegories, but living expressions of the soul's journey, pointing you toward a deeper understanding of who you are and your place in the cosmos. As you awaken to the wisdom of these ancient narratives, you begin to see the world not as a place of separation and struggle, but as a cosmic dance of light and shadow, of creation and transformation. The hidden dimension is where these stories are not just remembered, but lived, experienced, and integrated into your waking reality. The ancient civilizations knew that light was not just a physical phenomenon. It was a key to the mysteries of existence, the force that connects the material world with the divine. They saw light as a sacred force, one that could awaken the soul, guide it on its journey, and transform it into a being of pure consciousness. To reconnect with this wisdom, we must look beyond the surface of things and recognize the light that lies at the heart of all creation. Having explored the ancient civilization's understanding of light and the powerful symbolism embedded in their myths and teachings, we are now tasked with integrating these timeless truths into our own modern lives. The wisdom of light is not merely a historical curiosity or a philosophical abstraction. It is an energetic force that can guide, heal, and transform us right here and right now. The ancient civilizations knew that light, in all its forms, was the key to unlocking a deeper understanding of the universe and ourselves. But how can we access this hidden wisdom in our daily lives, where distractions and the chaos of the material world often obscure our connection to the divine light? To begin integrating these teachings, we must first reconnect with the idea that light is not merely a physical phenomenon, but a spiritual force that flows through all things. The light that ancient cultures revered was not only the sunlight that nourishes the earth, but the very light of consciousness that illuminates the mind, the heart, and the soul. To begin understanding light in this way is to see that it is not a distant, separate entity, but an integral part of our being, a part of the energetic web that connects us to all things. This realization opens up the first step of practical integration, awakening the inner light. Just as the ancient Egyptians saw the sun as a source of divine power, so too must we begin to recognize the light within ourselves. This light is not just a metaphor. It is a real, palpable energy that flows through us, guiding our thoughts, emotions, and actions. The practice of awakening this inner light requires mindfulness and intention. It begins with the awareness that at any moment, we can reconnect with this light by simply turning our attention inward and aligning ourselves with its presence. To awaken the inner light, one must engage in practices that cultivate inner stillness and clarity. Meditation, prayer, or simply sitting in silence for a few moments each day can help to quiet the mind and allow the light within to emerge. This light, once recognized, becomes a source of guidance, offering clarity in moments of confusion and peace in moments of chaos. Just as ancient civilizations used the sun to navigate their physical worlds, we can use the light within to navigate the internal terrain of our consciousness. Another powerful practice for integrating the wisdom of light is symbolic illumination. The ancient civilizations understood the power of symbols to communicate deep truths, and we can use these symbols to activate and direct the flow of light within our lives. Symbols such as the sun, the moon, the flame, or even geometric patterns like the flower of life carry with them the energetic imprint of light. When we meditate upon these symbols, we invite their energies to flow into our awareness, unlocking deeper insights into our existence. In the same way that ancient temples and sacred sites were designed to align with celestial bodies, we can create our own personal sacred spaces, whether physical or mental, that are aligned with the energies of light. For example, you might find that sitting under the sun, feeling its warmth on your skin, helps you connect with a deep sense of vitality and purpose. Or perhaps, in the quiet of the evening, you can light a candle as a reminder of the inner light that guides you. These practices are not mere rituals. They are ways of activating the light within, of consciously drawing upon the energy that illuminates both the external and internal worlds. As you begin to awaken to this inner light, you will start to notice a profound shift in your perception of the world around you. Light, as ancient cultures knew, has the power to reveal not just the physical world, but the hidden dimensions of reality. It is through the light of awareness that we can begin to see beyond the surface of things, beyond the mundane and the ordinary, into the deeper truths that lie beneath. The ancient Egyptian, for instance, believed that the sun god Ra's light revealed not just the physical world, but the inner workings of the cosmos. They saw the sun's light as a direct expression of divine wisdom, illuminating the mysteries of existence. In our modern world, we too can tap into this light of awareness. When we start to see beyond the veiled appearances, when we recognize the interconnectedness of all things, we begin to perceive life not as a series of disconnected events, but as a unified, flowing current of energy. This awareness allows us to transcend the limitations of our small, egoic selves and connect to the greater, universal truth that binds all things together. Just as light reveals the physical world to our eyes, so does it reveal the deeper layers of reality to our consciousness. In working with light consciously, we can also begin to transform the darkness within, our fears, doubts, and insecurities, just as the sun's light dispels the darkness of night. The ancient teachings emphasize that light and shadow are intertwined, that one cannot exist without the other. The shadows we encounter in our lives are not to be feared or avoided, but embraced as opportunities for growth. When we shine the light of awareness upon our fears and unconscious patterns, we transform them. Just as the sun turns night into day, this process of transformation is not always easy, but it is necessary for spiritual growth. It is through the encounter with our own shadows that we come to know ourselves more fully, and in doing so, we align ourselves more closely with the light of our true nature. Moreover, as we awaken to the power of light, we begin to understand that light is not just something to receive, but something to give. Ancient civilizations understood that the act of sharing light, whether through knowledge, love, or energy, was a divine act. In the same way that the sun shines upon all, indiscriminately, we too are called to radiate our light into the world. This is not about ego or seeking recognition, but about sharing the wisdom, love, and energy that flows through us with others. When we align with our inner light, we begin to see that the light we give others is also the light we give to ourselves. It is through acts of kindness, generosity, and compassion that we expand the light within us, illuminating the world around us. This is where the concept of cosmic service comes into play. When we realize that we are part of a greater whole, when we remember that we are interconnected with all beings and all of creation, we begin to see that our purpose is not just to seek personal enlightenment, but to contribute to the illumination of a collective. The ancient civilizations understood that the light of the individual is not separate from the light of the whole. When we awaken to the truth of who we are, we realize that our inner light is not just a personal treasure. It is a gift to the world. Just as the sun shines on all life without discrimination, so too does our light radiate outward, touching those around us in ways we may not even be aware of. In integrating the ancient teachings about light, we are not merely learning to see more clearly. We are learning to be more fully, to live in harmony with the light that flows through all creation. The practices of mindfulness, meditation, and intentional living allow us to reconnect with the light within. And as we do so, we align ourselves with the greater cosmic flow of energy. The wisdom of the ancients is not just a distant memory. It is a living, breathing truth that is waiting to be rediscovered and applied in our lives. The light they revered is the same light that resides within each of us, waiting to be awakened. The journey into the hidden dimensions of light and the wisdom that ancient civilizations once held is not one that ends with intellectual understanding or the accumulation of knowledge. It is a journey that invites you to live differently, to awaken the profound truth that you are not just a human body in a material world, but a radiant being, part of an infinite web of energy, consciousness, and divine light. The ancient teachings of light are not forgotten relics of a distant past, but living principles that, when understood and integrated, can transform your perception of reality and guide you toward a life of greater purpose, clarity, and connection. To fully embrace this truth is to remember who you are beyond the confines of your human story, to remember the light that resides within you and the divine intelligence that connects you to all things. When you awaken to this deeper reality, your experience of the world changes. No longer are you a passive observer of life, merely reacting to circumstances. Instead, you become an active participant in the cosmic dance, aware that your thoughts, intention, and actions are the very forces that shape your reality. The hidden dimension of light becomes a living force within you, guiding you towards self-realization and spiritual awakening. The teachings of light are not abstract. They are practical tools that can be applied every day. They ask you to become more mindful of the energy you are putting into the world and the energy you are receiving. Light, in this sense, is not just an external phenomenon, but an internal one. It is the energy of your thoughts, your emotions, your awareness. When you begin to consciously align with this energy, you begin to experience life in a new way. The challenges you face no longer seem insurmountable because you realize that they are not obstacles, but opportunities for transformation. Just as the light of the sun illuminates the earth, so too does the light within you illuminate the path before you, guiding you through the darkness of fear and uncertainty. One of the most powerful realizations that comes from understanding the ancient wisdom of light is that light is not separate from you. It is you. The divine light that was once seen as an external force, shining from the heavens or radiating from the sun, is, in truth, the same light that flows through every cell of your being. It is the energy of your soul, the essence of your consciousness, the very spark that connects you to the divine. When you align yourself with this inner light, you are not merely reflecting the world around you. You are becoming an active creator of your reality. You are embodying the light that has always been a part of you, and through this embodiment, you begin to transform both your inner world and the world around you. The truth of light calls you to live consciously. The ancient civilizations knew that light was not just something to observe, but something to participate in. It was not a passive experience, but an active force, an energy that could be harnessed and directed for the greater good. This is a key to understanding the divine nature of light. It is not something that is simply given to you, but something that you must align with. The more you align yourself with the light within, the more you begin to see the world as a reflection of that light. And the more you realize that you have the power to shape your reality through your awareness, your intentions, and your actions. This understanding also brings with it a sense of responsibility, not a burden, but a sacred duty to live in alignment with the light you have awakened to. The light within you is not meant to be hoarded, but to be shared. It is meant to radiate outward, to illuminate not just your own path, but the paths of those around you. As you become more tuned to the light within, you begin to see the interconnectedness of all life, and you realize that your actions, your thoughts, and your energy impact the greater whole. The more you embody the teachings of light, the more you become a beacon for others, guiding them to their own inner light. This is not a journey that ends. It is a continual unfolding, a lifelong process of remembering, awakening, and sharing the light that resides within you. The more you allow this light to guide you, the more you will find that life becomes a journey of discovery, of growth, and of transformation. The challenges you face will no longer feel like obstacles to overcome, but opportunities to grow in understanding and to deepen your connection to the divine. The light that once seemed distant or unreachable is now within you, a constant source of wisdom, guidance, and peace. In this journey, there is no destination. There is only the continuous unfolding of your true self. The more you remember who you truly are, the more you recognize that you are not separate from the universe, but a vital part of it. The ancient civilizations knew this, and their teachings about light offer a timeless reminder of the infinite potential that lies within each of us. To embrace these teachings is to step into fullness of your being, to awaken to the light that has always been there, waiting to guide you on your path. So, let this be your call to action. Awaken to the light within you. Remember your true nature and allow the ancient wisdom of light to guide you toward your highest potential. The world around you is waiting for you to recognize the light within yourself and share it with others. The more you align with this light, the more you will see the world transform before your eyes. You are not merely a human being living in the world. You are a being of light, capable of shaping reality itself. Embrace this truth and watch as your life unfold with clarity, purpose, and divine illumination. This is your path, and the time to walk it is now.